Today, I'm back on the other side of Gran Canaria after playing Bandama to revisit and hopefully regain some pride at Salobre Golf Resort. I played this course in January this year and didn't do very well. I'll link the video in the cards and description if you want to watch that. I'm playing holes 1 to 9 of the old course and 1 to 9 of the new course today, making this a par 71 in total. As usual, I'm playing off the yellows, so let's head over to the first tee.
You're driving, mate?
I'm driving. Don't move, does it? I've got my foot flat down now. What's happening?
Hole number 1 then is a par 4 with a slight dogleg bend to the right. Just over 300 yards this hole, not a particularly difficult one to start with. So I'm just hitting driver and trying to keep that in play, which I've managed. Leaving me 106 yards into this green. So I'm just playing a 56 wedge here. A little bit of an awkward lie. And I've pulled it slightly. So it's left me just short of the green, chipping towards the pin. And starting to judge these around the green shots on these fast greens much better now. So this has given me a real chance of making an early par. Just missed, unfortunately. And tapped that one in for a bogey. So I'm playing with a chap called Alex today. Very nice Spanish fella. And he's hitting an 8-iron here on the second. And unfortunately, he just finishes up on the left-hand side of the green. So my turn now, and I'm basically hitting the same club, and I've hit the same shot. I just get a little bit of a better bounce than Alex did, and mine ends up on the green. So you can see Alex, unfortunately, just got caught up in the fringe there. So he's opting to chip this one. And to great effect. Fantastic birdie there. I think I'd have been bouncing around a bit more than him, but yeah, fantastic shot. So me looking to match his shot, and I came pretty close, to be honest. It leaves me a nice easy tap in for a par, but 2 birdies on that hole would have been special.
Yeah, good birdie.
So the third is a tricky par 4. It looks easier than it is, I think. I was explaining to Alex that the last time I played it, I hit my tee shot into the rocks there on the left, and my ball got caught in some wiring. And I've just done the exact same thing. Luckily, this time I've got a better bounce, and it's in the fairway. So I've got 126 yards to the green, and I'm just hitting a 9-iron here. Couldn't see over the brow where it finished up, but it was a little short. So again, I'm chipping onto the green. And this one gets more of a kick than I thought it was going to get, and rolls a little bit past the pin. So leaving me a longer putt than I would have liked, but it's still a par putt. And it's nice and close. Fantastic weather on this day, and the views behind the course is amazing, as always. The fourth then, this is a very tricky par 3, 200 yards. And if you miss right, like I've played with here, it's just downhill. Unfortunately, Alex ended up at the bottom of the hill and had a real task getting the ball back up. Fortunately for me, mine clung on. So it's left me with a 60-degree wedge chip towards the pin, which I've not judged badly at all, actually. And it's given me a tough, but makeable putt for par, which just lips out. Terribly unlucky. But it's an easy tidy up for a bogey. And it's a good start, really. The fifth is the first par 5. This has a huge bend round to left, and you can actually take your driver over the trees there on the left if you're feeling braver than I am. I've kept this safe. It felt a little windy on the day, so I just kept it safe down the right. Then hitting a 2-iron down the fairway. I've just pulled this slightly left. You may notice this is potentially the first round with the 2-iron. I can't remember if I had it for the last one. Bought it to replace the 3-wood and 3 hybrid really, because I just don't hit it well. So I'm hitting it again here up towards the green, and I just feel so much more confident with this club. Strange, isn't it? I think a lot of people struggle with the longer irons. I just can't hit the hybrids and the 3-woods and feel so much more comfortable with that 2-iron. But it's left me chipping towards the pin with a 50 degree, and that's gone really well. It means that on a tough par 5, I've walked off with a par, so I'm very happy with that one. The 6 is another par 5 back down the sort of same way the last par 5 came. So again, decent drive this time up towards that bunker on the right there, just keeping the ball in play.
Best one I've hit for a while.
I was happy with that one. And again, it leaves me 270, so I've got 2-iron out. Again, clocking this one nicely and just get me down the fairway. This leaves me a P wedge into the green. I catch it quite nicely, but just doesn't go as far as I was hoping. Lands on the front portion of the green, with the pin more towards the middle back. So it's a long putt, but it is a birdie putt. And I think knowing that it was a birdie putt got me nervous, and I've left it a good bit short. Worst putt of the day so far. And then the par putt's really quite pathetic, and means I'll somehow walk off with a bogey. Just golf, I guess. Hole 7, a shortish par 4. We were saying on the tee box here we could give this a good go at trying to drive the green, but I don't know who we were kidding. It's all into wind. And it obviously comes up a long way short. So, hitting a 56 towards the green now. Uphill slightly. Unfortunately, I just don't put enough on this one.
Bit short.
Didn't really commit to it, and it ends up finishing short of the green. Chipping towards the pin. And that's pretty good. It leaves me a very makeable putt for another par. So it's solid golf through the first 7. The 8th is a really nice par 3. Over water that you can just see there, and not long at all. So it's a real good chance for birdie if you're good with your wedges. I've not hit a bad shot here. Front edge of the green. Alex unfortunately just thins his right to the back of the green there on the hill. But a really nice shot of the hotel in the background there. Alex was a very interesting chap actually. He played professional football in his younger years for Deportivo La Coruña to begin with. He was a goalkeeper. And then he moved to Atletico Madrid and did the double whilst he was there. Unfortunately, a knee injury ended his career in his mid-20s. So he did have to stop playing football, but very interesting chap, and I very much enjoyed playing golf with him. So, on the most picturesque hole that I'm likely to play, I've got a chance for a birdie. Oh, and it's close. Cannot be disappointed at that one. A very, very easy par. So on to the 9th. I never play this one well, and I'm not going to start today.
You make sustained movements on your back swing. Yeah.
Alex explaining that I looked like a bit of a mental person during that swing. Probably because this hole's living rent-free in my head. So I'm now in a tricky position, trying to punch this out. And it's about acceptable. I smashed the ground behind the ball and it does trickle out. So I've still got 200 yards after 2 shots on a not very long par 4. And luckily I actually make contact this time, up towards the green. So this leaves me with a 56 degree wedge towards the green. Tried to get cute with this one and I've just not carried it far enough. It's finished up on the hill leading up to the green. So again, chipping onto the green. And I fat this one a little bit. Talk about a capitulation. Shot 6, I'm finally putting. I didn't bring my putter with me because my head was all over the place after that drive. So I've had to borrow Alex's. And I do tidy up for a 2-putt. And unfortunately a triple bogey. Disappointing 9th hole that. So close, yet so far at the halfway stage. If I'd just managed a par on the 9th, I'd have broken 40 through the first 9, which I'm not sure I've ever done. However, that hole has brought me back down to earth after playing some very tidy golf. So, looking to not let that hole affect me on the back nine, let's see how I get on. So the 10th, you may have seen this one before, is a dog leg to the left. It's a par 5. It's easier to lose your ball on this tee box than it looks. So I've just hit 2-iron, kept it in play. It's left me 200 yards into the green. So again, I'm hitting 2-iron. The tee shot is downhill, but then this next shot is uphill, so it's not gone quite as far. It's left me with a 56 chip towards the green. I catch this one a little too well. And it didn't account for, obviously, that it's not going to fall as much, the ball, so it's going to roll further. So it's rolled off the back of the green. Now, we had a big discussion about this putt, because it's a big undulating green. So I've started this way off to the left. And we were both pretty impressed with how that putt finished up, giving me a chance to par the hole, which I've managed to do. This is about as hot as my putter gets, to be honest. It's doing very well for me. Hole 11 is a par 3, slightly uphill, 168 yards. I've took too much club here, really, a 4-iron, and I've just caught it too well, and it's rolled straight off the back. So I'm using a pitching wedge to chip back towards this pin. So I was just trying to pop this on the green and get it to run all the way to the flag, because it's slightly downhill. Overjudged it slightly, but not a terrible result. It does give me a putt at par, which isn't too far off, and leaves me with a somewhat makeable one for bogey. So a good tidy up. The 12th then is another par 5. You might have seen this one a few times. It's called the hardest. It's a brilliant hole, this. And I've hit the perfect drive here. I was trying to explain to Alex where to play this hole. Unfortunately, he went first and didn't hit it in a great place, but I've put it absolutely A1, leaving me a 4-iron into the green, which I've chunked into the valley, never to be seen again. So I've dropped at the bottom of the hill and just playing a P-wedge onto the green for my 4th shot. After losing a ball, I've overcooked this one and hit the rocks on the back. It's wound up in the rubbish there. Didn't fancy chipping this. I've used the putter and I didn't get it up the hill, unfortunately. So it's left me with a very tough putt for bogey. But sod's law, that one goes straight in.
Best part of the day. Thank you.
On to hole 13, this is the uphill par 4. Tricky shot this, because it looks quite daunting off the tee box, but actually if you hit a good drive, it's not that bad. But I pull this drive to the left, it sort of bounces up the cart path a little bit. On the last fairway, sort of the edge of the last fairway there. So it's not horrendous. It leaves me with a shot into the green. But again, not really accounting for the gradient here, because the ball's not coming down as far. It's not going to travel quite as far.
So close.
So I've ended up catching that front lip of the green. Tricky chip as my feet are sloping down the hill. So just getting this on the green, to be honest, isn't a bad result. And does leave me a putt for par. Which did have a little bit of a look. It means I should have a pretty easy job tidying this up for yet another bogey. Only pars and bogeys bar the 9th on the card at the moment, so really good going. It was at this point that Alex suggested that we play a little bit of a match on the last few holes of the course, suggesting that the person who loses the most holes buys the drinks in the bar afterwards. So I gladly agreed to this, as I pretty much spanked him up until this point, so I felt pretty confident. On to hole 14, this one's called Views, and it really does have a spectacular view off the tee box, this one. Big fairway on the left and the right of that path there, and I've hit it directly down the middle into the rocks around the path, unfortunately. It's not a particularly long hole either. I've got a completely blind approach shot into this green, so I've hit a P-wedge, and you can see I've had to run off to try and find where that ball's landed. It's not bad, it's a little short and winds up on like the front edge on the right hand side. So looking to chip this close, and I completely duff it. I don't know if you remember the last time I played this hole, I did exactly the same thing. I left myself with a tricky putt for a par on the last one. Done exactly the same here. And as I did before, I've made the difficult putt for a par, so something weird going on this hole. And that par also puts me 1 up in the match with Alex. The 15th is a shortish par 3, but there is water down the right and behind. And last time I played this I did go long, so I think that was playing in my mind here. As I've said there, it's short and safe, and it's left me chipping. 50-degree wedge. Not given this enough, unfortunately, and it's left me a longish putt. And that's just not enough. And I can tap that in for bogey. Alex had made a bit of a hash of this hole, and I actually ended up giving him a chance with it taking me 4 shots to get this down. But as you can see, he doesn't make a great job of this putt, and I win this hole as well to go 2-0 up with 3 to play. The 16th is a tricky par 4 because it's uphill. It's actually not that long, but it's all uphill. And I've blazed my tee shot out to the right here. So this is going to leave me a very tricky shot into the green. So I'm using 2 irons to try and get it up the hill. Catch this a little weird, but it sort of works out. I'm up the hill near the green. Chipping towards the pin now with a 56-degree wedge, and that's gone pretty well. Tough putt for par though. And how has that not dropped? Brilliant putt. But he was never going to fall, and I'm going to have to tap that one in for bogey. I believe Alex bogeyed that one as well, so I'm 2 up through 3 going into the 17th, which is a par 3. And I hit a 5-iron here, very chunky, and it comes up short.
Quite thin.
Annoyingly, I hit this 56-degree wedge onto the green, and then I 2-putt. But after this chip, I just for some reason have completely not recorded the rest of this hole. Alex managed to get par, so it's 2-1 going into last. The reason for the rushed recording is we did have a party behind us that were getting a little bit bored. So the 18th is a par 5 to finish. It's a bit of a nemesis for me, this hole. But finally, I've hit a pretty good drive. First time of asking.
Didn't see it land.
So has Alex. And again, what I've done here is hit my shot, press the button to stop recording, but I've actually started recording. So you can see the divot in front of me there where I've taken my shot. I've just laid up before the water, but I thought I recorded it and I haven't. So Alex is looking to do the same. Play it over before the water, and unfortunately his goes right. I think it might have ended up in the water, I can't quite remember. So I'm hitting my 3rd shot over towards the green, and mine goes straight into the water. So not trying to mess about, I'm just going to drop another ball and take another shot for my 5th shot. And this one goes way right. Cat girl at the time was watching and witnesses this amazing bounce off the stairs. It actually nearly went in the hole.
Imagine it had gone in.
So it's left me with this putt for bogey, unbelievably. Which unfortunately I missed. But it's enough to win the match with Alex and clean up for another double bogey on the last hole of the 9. Thoroughly enjoyable match, and the course, as always, was in great condition. Alex was a pleasure to play with, and we had a good beer in the bar afterwards. There must have been something mentally affecting me on the last hole of each 9 today, as both my bad holes came at the same point on each 9. Possibly in the back of my mind I knew I was playing well and let that mess with me on the 9th and 18th. Who knows? With that said, I have no complaints with the golf I played today. 86 on a tough course like this, especially given how I played on the course last time, is solid improvement. What did you make of the round golfers? I'm always interested to hear your thoughts. If you want to watch more course vlogs like this, I'll pop up the playlist now. We also film a number of fun matches that I'm sure you'll enjoy. I'll pop that playlist up too. Thanks always for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.